The Jacob Media Sports Network, in partnership with 97.3 ESPN, brings you the Mays and Eytan Show.
Middays with Harry Mays and Eytan Shander.
Now, it's the Midday Show with Harry Mays and Eytan Shander on 97.3 ESPN Radio.
Well, we've got a fight to talk about, one of the most historic things that you'll never see repeated in sports that we witnessed, and it was an amazing thing. Not only was it lucrative for the two of us, but it was an amazing thing to watch. And then, of course, I think there's actually some value tonight in watching a football game. And we'll start, I guess, right, to look into the NFL schedule. What do we normally do on Thursdays?
Yeah, we start looking at the Eagles' next opponent, and we're going to, try to run down
We'll do that at 1 o'clock.
guests.
Yes, we do have a guy at 1 o'clock. Shane Riordan's going to join us at 1. He's out there, 670 the score.
Okay.
He's great. He's a funny dude. He's got a cooking show as well. So that's Zach?
Yeah, Zach's Berman just got back to me.
All right,
here.
nice. Now, of course,
right.
BLG is going to get back to me, too.
Well, just text him and say maybe we can get him tomorrow or something, or next week.
I'm going to text him for tomorrow.
Yeah, we don't want to double book. But we'll get Zach Berman from The Athletic at 12:30, and we'll start diving into this Eagles stuff. But we got to talk about last night, because last night in sports, television was freaking great last night.
Well, let's start with the fight, okay?
Yes.
Because that was listen, that game was over, and I don't know who in their right mind jumped in at the Wolves plus 7.5, but the Sixers were just so much better than the Wolves in one area, which is Minnesota hadn't played this season anybody that was that long,
right,
that could frustrate these guards.
Well,
like
there are
Jeff
few
Teague.
teams that are that long as the Sixers. I mean, that's one of the real big advantages that they're going to have going forward is how they defend on the perimeter. And teams, we saw the first night against the Celtics.
Yep.
Their prize acquisition in the offseason was having a tough time
Absolutely.
on the perimeter.
No, I understand. Yes, you're talking about Kemba Walker.
Kemba Walker,
correct.
Right. He was miserable. He had a miserable night, and he couldn't deal with the length.
No, I understand. So, and now what you saw, I think, manifest was just that clamp that they put down. The game was over. The game was never in question. The over-under was never in question. The Sixers put the clamps on them like they will for a lot of teams.
Well, it was over. It was midway through the third quarter, if I remember, and I think they were up 20 points, somewhere around there.
Yes.
And I was thinking, well, they better throw both of these guys out, because if they just throw Embiid out, this could be a game. This could be a game. Yeah.
Then you're worried about something.
Well, exactly. So
right.
I'm watching, them look at the replays, and the officials were over there at the monitors, and everybody in the arena is looking up at the brand new scoreboard, which was showing all this stuff, and everybody's having a great time.
Yes.
It seemed like I wish I was there last night.
Well, that was definitely the moment where you will want to be in the stadium, in the arena down there. And the fight itself, now look, nobody's going to throw hands per se, but at the same time, if people are worried about not throwing hands as a result of a suspension or you're going to get in trouble, understand that the most trouble you'll probably get in is what Joel Embiid did after going on. Like, I would imagine there's going to be some sort of reprimand or some sort of suspension that comes down from the NBA.
Yeah, probably.
Because of what he tweeted after that.
See, that's what I wish he would do.
Well,
I wish the president wouldn't tweet, and I wish Joel Embiid wouldn't tweet stuff like this.
Right.
It's just, the second tweet.
I'm glad you're an equal opportunist.
Well, yeah, the most recent tweet is the one that really annoyed me, which is that tough guy act ain't cutting it. You all know what you are. You know what you've always been, a P. Say it loud for the people in the back. Been kicking your ass and please make the playoffs before you talk. It's a known thing that I own you. Now, that's a great blast if it's coming from a fan and stuff like that, but he shouldn't be doing that.
I get it. And I think this is look, it's not as simple of a conversation as I think people will make it for the purposes of lowest common denominator sports talk radio, which this, God bless, is not.
No, it's not.
But I think you have to look at it and think, these two guys do clearly despise each other. Like, this is Larry Bird, Dr. J hate.
And that's okay.
Exactly.
I like that.
And I'm not saying, no, listen, you and I are just having the conversation.
Right.
I'm not saying that you don't. All I'm saying is, for people out there who may think like, this is BS, this is as close to a throwback hatred as you'll get.
This reminds you, more recently of maybe what some of those players in the late 80s thought of Bill Laimbeer.
Right.
You know, the Pistons teams. You know, like you said, Bird and Magic were friends.
Dr. J.
Dr. J
said,
and Larry Bird were enemies.
Right.
They got into it, too. I love that stuff every now and then mixed in with my basketball. That's okay, but you didn't have social media back then.
Correct.
You know
and I
mean?
think social media, and that's, I think, what's interesting about all of this. Look, we've all seen fights in the NBA. This was not new. This was not a new thing in the NBA, and I don't think this opens up like, oh, what are your top 5 fights ever in the NBA?
This was a wrestling match.
It was. It was a wrestling
Yeah.
match, for sure. I think what's interesting is it's not just people that you think like the, Schweimer get off my lawn segment.
Right.
I'm going to read you a tweet from somebody who's currently playing in the NBA who had an issue with what Joel Embiid tweeted afterwards. And it's not even so much did you out there, 609-403-0973, if you watch all the different platforms, we'll get to that in a second. It's not so much like a question if you had a problem with it, but I'm more curious about how social media and how now, which is clearly something that these kids are immersed in, plays a role in stuff like this, rivalries, because if done right, I think it furthers it.
Yeah.
But you also, real quick, Harry, the one thing I don't like, and again, I'm okay with everything so far. I know we disagree a little bit on what he said. I think he's going to get suspended. It's a
I think
bonehead
so,
thing.
too.
That's
Yeah.
fine. But the one thing I don't like is you can't – I got to walk around this, but through it. You can't set some sort of measuring stick that's arbitrary because it helps you in this position. Meaning, if you saying make the playoffs then talk, that means you can't talk to anybody who has done more than you. Like, you can't talk to Giannis.
Right.
You can't talk to Van Vliet.
If you're Joel.
Correct.
Right.
Because these guys have gone further than you.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's what I'm saying. So just be careful. If you're talking, like, it's fun. I get it. And I love the fact that he takes a jab and says, make the playoffs before you talk to me. But all I'm saying, Harry, is.
Yeah, how many rings does he have?
Yeah,
You know
yes.
what I mean?
Like, now you've set a bar or a ceiling where it's tough to kind of climb over it.
Exactly.
That's
No,
all.
I totally agree with you. And that's one of the reasons why the second tweet he shouldn't have done. The first one I was okay with. You know, great team win. I was raised around lions, and a cat pulled off on me tonight. LMAO. It's kind of funny. And he
great.
goes, got his mama giving middle fingers left and right.
It's great.
That's some serious real estate. I mean, I was okay with that one.
It's
just
great.
end it there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Now, there were two things that you might have missed from this. One just happened about an hour ago.
Okay.
The other happened while it was going on. And I felt like this person probably represented me more than anybody else. Like, if you could pick one person that represented you on the couch watching this fight, you know, you had Mike Scott on the bench, like, you know, somebody, a tag team partner in a wrestling match.
He would be a great tag team partner.
He's the best. There's no better tag team. Are you kidding? You're in a fight and you need to tag out on the bench. I don't want anybody else but Mike Scott right there.
Now I know why John Chaney fell in love with him so much when he was in high school and tried to get him to Temple. You know?
Well, to be, would he have replaced or preceded Nehemiah Ingram, the ultimate?
I think
poor kid.
I don't know if they would have crossed over or not.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a good kid, too.
I know, that's it. And he'll always go down as that, just following orders
Yes.
guy. No, but I think Al Horford, did you see this?
No.
Oh my goodness. This was me last night. And it was cool. Like, I jumped, I sat up and I was like, oh, a fight. And then I saw the two guys wrestling and I'm like, eh. But I think this is me in a nutshell right here. Al Horford. Right here on the
He's
right
just
side.
standing there with his hands on his hips like, what is this?
And you know what? Like, maybe that was my old man moment. That's fine. Like I said, I didn't have any problem with anything Joel Embiid said except make the playoffs then talk, because now you're setting a bar I don't like.
Yeah.
But I felt like after, I was like, okay, man. Like, all right, it's a wrestling match. How many times have you seen that?
No, I
or
know.
Or fake fists
But
thrown.
I'm just saying, you know, part of me was sitting there saying, man, I hope he doesn't get hurt. You know, they fall to the court awkwardly or something. He twists his knee or his ankle, whatever. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
we
that
saw
kinda,
Steph Curry break his hand.
Exactly, last night. I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
I didn't say it.
And didn't they lose to the Phoenix Suns?
Yes.
The Phoenix Suns have now beaten the Clippers and the Golden State Warriors this year. How
They're
about that?
upstart, man.
Yeah.
They're amazing what they've been able to build fast, and it just shows you that, you know, there are different ways to get to that means. But, yeah, they've got a young team, man, for sure.
You got some talent.
Golden State right now, there's
they're a mess.
way too many injuries.
Yeah, they're a mess.
So you've got the game itself, which I think it's a representation of, here's the thing. It's 4 games in, 5 games in, 6 games in. You know, they're going to lose a game here or there. That's fine. But the reality is that and this is what I'm surprised about, and it's not a knock, it's just how the NBA works. When you add some pieces or you lose some pieces, it might take, usually it does take a couple of weeks, maybe a month. Yeah.
Yes.
These guys, and I think it's a testament to what Simmons, Embiid, Tobias Harris last year, Brett Brown, I think it's a test, Mike Scott, he clearly is a huge emotion guy in that locker room. Ennis, right, yeah. as a leader, or a veteran, I guess. But my point of it is that for somebody like Josh Richardson to come in, a guy like Jimmy Butler to leave, who's a ball control guy, who has the ball in his hands a lot, it's a seamless transition. They're significantly better on defense with a bat of the eye. And, yeah, you'd like to see them shoot better, but when you're clamping down on teams like you did last night, do you really need to be 20 or 23 from behind three?
No. You don't need to be that. We just need to be able to, make a couple when they're open. But, that's for another night. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, what are they calling this, bully ball?
Yes.
Right now?
Yes.
Okay, which is sort of like going back in time, back to those old Knick teams. Is that what we're
Listen,
seeing
man,
here?
I can't watch that. So, look.
The Heat and the Knicks in the 90s, remember that?
Yes, I remember 83-79 basketball games.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Not at all.
But how about last night with Houston and the Wizards?
No.
If you scored 158 points in an NBA game, which is like an all-star game type of score, and you lost,
well, here's
159-158.
You talk about throwbacks. That's like more the Wilt era.
That's like the ABA.
Well, yeah, I'm saying like when these guys were playing games, they were going up and down the floor. They were putting up $150.
Right.
I don't know what's happened with this game. We've got a rivalry that goes back to Doc versus Larry. Mm-hmm. We've got the bully ball of the Heat-Knicks rivalry, and you're right, James Harden and Bradley Beal, I think, went for over 110 points.
Well, Harden had 59 himself,
Beal, I think, had 53, something
did he?
like that.
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't see
Beal
that.
was the leader for that.
Wow.
My goodness,
But
man.
think about that. You're scoring 158 points in an NBA game, and you lose.
I'm telling you.
That's unbelievable.
There was a time where that was the norm. Don't you remember that?
Well, I remember the ABA.
No, this is still like pre-Philadelphia Wilt, I want to say. Or maybe it was like this. If you just take a random year.
You're talking like the 60s when there was only like 10 teams?
I'm just saying the pace of the game.
Oh, okay.
Like look at this.
Those white guys ran up and down the court?
Look, man, they're putting up 104. They're putting up 114 a game. They're giving up 112 a game. Like this is in '69. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like if you start.
That's after he left Philly.
Right, that's what I'm saying when he's back with the Lakers. Okay. I'm just trying to find the specific era.
Was Gail Goodrich on that team?
Oh, yeah, man. They were lighting up.
Jerry West.
Think about this. If you were playing with Wilt Chamberlain, chances are that he was going to score anywhere from 30 to 50 a night.
Right.
So all you need to really do is score like, what are you going to tell me, like scoring 40 amongst 8 other guys is difficult?
No, that's a piece of cake.
Especially with Gail Goodrich and these other guys. Yeah, Gail Goodrich.
He'd also grab 30 rebounds.
Well, that's the thing. Exactly right, man. That's exactly right. 609-403-0973. That's a great pull. We could get him on.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Well, I watched him play.
He'd be great.
That's how old I am.
He'd be great. I want to read you this tweet before we get to the text board.
All right.
609-403-0973. Now, this is from @thekidET. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Why?
I've read a tweet from him in the past.
Correct. Used to play here. E.T. Think E.T.
Yeah,
Evan Turner.
Evan Turner.
Right.
Yeah.
If you get into it with somebody on the court and you still want smoke, then DM that man for a friendly. There's no need for the public stuff.
Oh, so he's saying he just sort of slid into KAT's DMs and maybe ripped him or challenged him to a brawl.
Okay, now here's the thing. I get what Evan Turner is saying, and I understand the mentality.
Don't make it public.
Which is, do your dirt by your lonely, handle your business on your own, whatever phrase or platitude you want to apply to it. I'm fine with it. But here's another thing. These guys are multi-millionaires 5, 10, 50 times over. So you can't just text somebody and say, hey, man, I'll meet you here, or you tell me where turn on your location,
right.
and I'll come punch you.
Right.
Like that's not going to work for two big celebrities this. So to Joel Embiid's credit or point, I don't know. How do you handle if you don't like him? How do you handle this? Maybe that does kind of a little justify Harry those tweets, only because he can't go up and physically punch Karl-Anthony Towns.
I wait till the next time we play, and I handle him on the court again, just like I always have. I mean,
like Andre Drummond.
Yeah, exactly. Or Hassan Whiteside. Remember when they used to go at it?
Yes. Yes.
He didn't like him either. I like the fact that Joel he has a lot of enemies.
Correct.
But I just don't need any cheap shots coming his way as a result of any nonsense that he's doing on social media either.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
No, I understand.
We need him vertical.
Okay, that's fair.
All
so
right.
you don't want him getting okay, but you don't mind him being in a fight.
Well,
he's more likely to get hurt in a fight than suspended for a tweet.
I don't want that to become the norm either.
Okay.
But every now and then it's kind of fun.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't need him looking to throw down with every big man in the NBA on a nightly basis. That's not what I'm saying.
It is lining up that way. Who is the ultimate villain? Like, who's the if you span the history, and I need to find out why. Maybe Josh has some idea, or maybe we just need to get McMullen on for like 15 seconds today. But I saw a tweet from him earlier that WWE stock is going to take a hit today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, who knows why, for some reason. But who is the ultimate, like if you span from the beginning to where we are now, who is the ultimate villain in worldwide, from WWF through WWE where we are now?
The ultimate, you're asking me a wrestling question?
Well, think about it.
Nick Cale?
You go back, we all go back to when it was Hulk Hogan taking on John Smith in some gold leotard. Right, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, the ultimate villain?
Remember when Sergeant Slaughter turned? Do you remember that? For some reason, Sergeant Slaughter backed the Iron Sheik during the Iraqi War.
Yeah.
And I was late to that.
Okay.
And I didn't know that. And I turned
The Iron Sheik was pretty good. He was a great villain.
He was a great villain.
Yeah.
That could
he's a great Twitter follower.
He's an amazing Twitter follower. So that could be it, right?
Yeah, maybe the Iron Sheik.
Is Embiid? Well, listen, he's got both going for him. He's got ultra huge villain status, and he's an amazing tweeter.
See, but the thing is I'd rather, as a Sixer fan, have him not be the focal point of it. I'd rather have our own version of Charles Oakley. You know what I mean? Like, to be the protector.
What do you mean?
Well, because I don't need him.
That's Mike
on
Scott.
The front line. Yeah,
Mike Scott is Charles Oakley or Anthony Davis.
Okay.
Mason, pardon me.
Yeah, Anthony Mason.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you have. I mean, remember that you talk about an offensive line: Anthony Mason and Charles Oakley.
Right. Yeah. It's sort of like Marty McSorley was to Wayne Gretzky back in the day. Nobody messed with Wayne Gretzky. They would have loved to because they knew McSorley's going to knock your teeth out.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
See,
Who else?
I don't want Embiid to be the
Ty
guy.
Domi, Bob Probert, somebody like that.
Yeah.
Bob Probert.
Yeah.
All right. Think about that. 609-403-0973 at Harry Mays to you. I'm going to put the tweet out as well, at Shander Show. We're live as well on Periscope, at Harry Mays to you, on Facebook, Eytan Shander, the Derailed YouTube page, as well as, what did I miss? All 4 platforms here, Harry.
Yeah, I can't keep track. But
Twitch, Mays and Eytan.
I got to ask you this, because we talked to Kevin Kincaid yesterday about the Sixers, right?
Correct.
And I brought up Furkan Korkmaz that I've seen enough.
Right.
Do I owe Furkan Korkmaz a Furkan apology?
No.
No?
No.
Because he went off last night.
Come on.
So you're saying that's not sustainable?
I'm saying he's not on my radar, nor should he be on your radar.
He had 17 points in 22 minutes last night.
So what? First off, were those minutes of value? I mean, were those tie points that stretched leads?
No, I don't think so. But when he's on the court, I don't even like looking at him.
I check out.
I look at the other 4 players.
Right. My eyes just start to space. Yeah. What is that term when they go in different directions? No, there's a specific medical term for it.
I don't know.
In which they displace, something like that. I don't know.
But now there's some argument out there as to Ben Simmons' role, which the officials defined as he was the peacemaker in the fight.
Right.
But I remember seeing him on top of Towns with a chokehold around his neck.
Yeah.
Where, like, if he would have been a police officer, he'd be called into, for
I'm sure.
internal affairs.
Right. There'd be some sort of investigation there.
Exactly.
No, I don't know.
He might get a game too.
I don't know.
Not that it's any huge deal. How many games do you think Embiid gets?
I think Embiid gets 3 games max.
Okay. Do you think Towns gets the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they get the same.
What about Teague, who came in there. He was like the third man in kind of deal in a hockey fight.
He was.
He came in there and grabbed Embiid from the back, right?
Yeah, I don't think, honestly.
He should get a game.
I don't know. Here's the thing. Like the Wolves, if this were the Celtics, if this were the Nets, Boston now beat them with a win last night, mind you, against Milwaukee. It was a pretty big one. If this were a team that I think we care about on the day-to-day,
yeah,
I
don't care about these guys.
And I'm not saying like my answer is I don't care. I think my answer is more so like if Jeff Teague doesn't get suspended, I'm not upset. I honestly don't think Ben Simmons will get suspended either, since they've already ruled him, as erroneously as it sounds, the peacemaker.
Well, Minnesota's arguing with that.
Let him.
Okay,
I mean,
the NBA
what
office.
are they going to do? So
for what
I think
it's worth.
At most he'll get fined, I think, at this point.
And I blanked on the fact that the Timberwolves traded Dario on draft night. Because I'm like, where's Dario? And then it
was all about Cove.
That they traded with, I believe, Phoenix, right? He's in Phoenix.
Correct.
And the Timberwolves ended up moving up to the 6th slot and drafted that Jarrett Culver out of Texas Tech.
Who's a pretty good player,
He's a pretty nice player, yeah.
609-403-0973. Before we get to the World Series coming up, and just here's a sneak preview of where we're at right now in Major League Baseball. Garrett Cole, I'm reading this from Larry Brown, less than an hour after losing the World Series, tells reporters he's no longer an employee of the Astros.
How about that?
While wearing a hat featuring his agent Scott Boris's company logo.
Oh,
He's
God.
gone.
Yeah, of course he is.
Now listen to this text. Since it is Halloween, a WTF moment yesterday. Took my kids trick-or-treating. Stopped at a house, and this old lady was handing out tiny containers of chili.
What?
I'm reading it verbatim from the text board here.
Chili.
Chili.
It's not even cold enough for chili.
Well, it's raining, you know.
Yeah, but it's not cold. It's mild out. It's not a chilly day.
No?
Not for me. But anyway, go on with the text.
That was it?
Oh, that's it?
Yeah. Just showed up to this woman's house, and she handed out these small containers of chili. Is it like those small things you get? Remember Wendy's? You know, Wendy's has that small chili thing.
Yeah, little cardboard container, right?
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a chilly day.
You're out?
Yeah, I'm out on that.
Okay.
It's not really chilly weather.
That's fine. Yeah. Mike Scott has, this text board here. Mike Scott has a rep. JoJo throwing air punches. Sixers playing the bad boys role a bit. They better be careful.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Well,
they better be careful.
Careful for what, though?
Well, I'm just saying, like I don't need any ill will coming their way as a result of them. You know, because the teams hated those Pistons teams back in the 80s.
Right.
And they were very physical with them as a result. Like, they wanted a piece.
Oh, no, and
like,
listen.
Yes. Lane Beer was coming down the lane. Somebody wanted to take him out.
He was going to
get hit.
I
don't need that
No.
Joel Embiid. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay.
Listen, that's a fair criticism or valid
concern. It's a concern.
Yes, I think that's a better way to put it. Absolutely. I remember teams from Denver, coached by Doug Moe, used to score in the 140s, 150s all the time. It wasn't the Detroit Pistons with the Adrian Dantley guys.
Adrian Dantley.
Yeah. Didn't they used to score like in the 130 and 140s?
Well, there was
John there on the text board.
There was back when Mark Macon got drafted in the early 90s. He got drafted by the Denver Nuggets. And they were running this system which was just up and down. I forget who the coach was. I think he might have been the coach at Loyola Marymount, too, at one point.
Okay.
I might have that wrong. But
Not
they
Bo Kimball.
They were just trying to just run up and down the court and just outscore you. It was awful. And it was the worst system for Macon to go into because he wasn't a fast player.